Hey, welcome to my little simulation. So, I made a life simulation in Python. It can simulate food, water, and these tiny little creatures I call cubelets. The first thing I had to do was make the bushes produce food. Then I added water, and finally the cubelets themselves. Each cubelet has two main modes, chilling and searching. Chilling is when they're fed and watered, and searching is when they're hungry or thirsty. So yeah, it's basically just a bunch of fancy if statements pretending to be intelligence. That makes the food web look something like this. Alright, let's run the first simulation. As you can see from this graph, the cubelets kept dying. Probably from wandering off or something dumb like that. So yeah, definitely needs improvement. So I added mating to the simulation. Now if two cubelets are doing well, like high food and high water and good health, they'll look for a mate, and boom, cubelet. Alright, let's run that one. As you can see, the population goes up and down depending on how much food there is. This is actually a super common thing in nature. Food gets eaten, creatures starve, food regrows, population rises again, and that cycle just keeps repeating. Next, I wanted to see what happens if we start with way fewer cubelets. Will they die out or grow rapidly? So let's say 4 times fewer. Let's run that. Alright, as you can see, the population shoots up really fast at first, then drops again when food runs out. So pretty much the same cycle, just faster this time. Okay, now for a bigger test. A longer simulation with more stuff happening. Alright, as you can see, the population explodes, then drops down and eventually stabilizes. That stable point is what's called the carrying capacity. Basically, the max number of cubelets the ecosystem can handle. And here it looks like it settles around 17 or 18. Alright, now let's mess with the water. Cubelets can't see very far, so sometimes they just lose track of where the water is, and die of thirst. So let's make a bigger map, add some new water sources, and see what happens. And yeah, check this out. Without extra water, the population stays around 10. But as soon as I add more water, it jumps up to about 70, then drops and stabilizes around 35. Way better survival rate overall. Okay, final experiment. Let's give the cubelets a bigger view range, so they can actually see more food and water around them. Let's make it around twice as large and run the simulation. And there it is. The population shoots up to around 100, then settles around 50 to 55 as the new carrying capacity. So yeah, the cubelets are basically better adapted to their world now. I also noticed they like grouping up, kinda like herds in real life, but don't get me wrong, they're not smart or anything, they're literally just following if statements. They all try to take the shortest path to food and water, and that ends up making them cluster together. So it looks like teamwork, but it's really just efficiency. I think a cool next step would be adding different creature types, and giving them more advanced behaviors, maybe even predators. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little look into my evolution simulation. If you liked it, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and drop a comment if you've got ideas for future experiments. And yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Good night.